What are some common business entities, and how should an entrepreneur choose the business entity that's right for them?
So this is an often asked question, and it sort of depends, right? Like, it depends on ultimately what you want to do with your business. So let's just look at, like, what are the five, I made some notes, so what are the 6 major types that people do? So you have your sole proprietorship, or you'll have like a DBA, an LLC, a C corporation, an S corporation, or a partnership. So obviously, if you have a sole proprietorship, then there's no filing requirements. There's no real, like, you don't have to file to set up your entity. You can start doing business as Troy Priest lawn cutting without filing any documents. But if you set up an LLC, you obviously will have to file an operating agreement with the state. It used to be that in Maryland, if you had an LLC, you didn't have to file personal property tax return. So everyone was setting up an LLC. And then the SDAT got hip to that. And so you have the same personal property filing requirements as you do for corporations. But the major difference with the LLC and say a corporation, an LLC, you don't have to set up a board of directors. You can have a single person LLC. You'll have an operating agreement for your LLC, and you all can decide how to control it. The corporation, either S or C corporation, is run by a board of directors, which is selected by the shareholders. And if you have an LLC, and I'm not recommending one or the other, it would really depend on you. So some of the things it would depend on what your long-range plan is. So if you ultimately wanted to build a business that you were going to take public, it probably makes sense to start as a corporation and to register with the IRS, do the S corporation election. Because when you go public, you're going to have to sell shares, your board of directors are going to have to approve it. I haven't done any, I haven't taken any companies public, so I don't exactly know what's in the filing, but I do know, your minutes will have to be in there. You will have to have crossed all your I's, and T's, and dotted all your I's. And so LLC is a little more loosey-goosey, and then you're going to have to, probably transition the entity anyway. So if ultimately, I want to have shareholders, I want to have a board of directors, I want to have, people that grow with me in this business and really make this a huge, big business, then, you probably want to start with an S Corp. A C Corp, unless you have 35 or more shareholders in your corporation, I don't see why a small business would start as a C Corp, but some do because they don't want, for whatever reason, they want the double taxation. So, like an S Corp, so a corporation is taxed at the corporate entity. And so with an S Corp, and again, I'm not an accountant, but you can elect to pass through your taxes from the entity. So the entity is not a taxable entity. So like for LLC, the LLC is not a taxable entity. The profits and losses pass through to the owners, and then they get taxed. And so like if you had an LLC that owned an LLC, like the profits from the one LLC would pass to the other one, and then the profits from that LLC would pass to its owners. I mean, it just all depends on how you want to structure it. And then a partnership, if Kimberly and I wanted to just do business together, we don't want to buy anything, we just want to enter into a simple agreement to sell chairs, then we could enter into a partnership.